come down over her withers, but basically nothing's got too stirred up. Sometimes the parade here on Arc Day, they don't often have parades in France, really can get to one or two of them. Let's hope that isn't the case.
The King George VI is not necessarily that good a guide to the Arc de Triomphe, but here is the horse who won it, King's Theatre, second in the Derby to Erhard, caught only close home by Erhard. He then ran that marvellous race in the King George, beating White Muzzle, although White Muzzle may have been slightly more interfered with by the riderless Ezoud. Nevertheless, King's Theatre has that victory to his credit, and it was no disgrace really, back over a mile and a quarter, 2 furlongs shorter distance, to have beaten by Ezoud outspeeded by Ezoud in the International at York.
Such a wide expanse of green, wider than Newmarket even, this track. There's Pat Edery on Intrepidity, who looks very perky. She's taken the preliminaries well. I really do think this filly, well, she's prodigious ability, most of you at home will know that, but I really do think she's got 2 ways of going. I didn't think she looked very keen to go past in the form clip we showed you earlier on, but if anybody can husband her abilities, it's Pat Edery. Just watch her tail, just the odd swish of impatience. She looks wonderfully well. She did when she reappeared the other day in the Prix Foix. She's come on since then.
She had a bit of a collision with Hernando that day when she just got beaten, didn't she, Jim? That may not have improved her temper. But there they are, led down by the blinkered Ezoud, about whom some rude things have been said, but he made his critics swallow them, winning the International at York.
The beautiful stands in the background. First in use here in 1965, with a capacity of cover for 15,000 people, but actually holds comfortably 11,000. Just imagine in there being part of that atmosphere.
It's rather a worry to GG. I know that the French insist on wearing coloured sashes on when the same owner has several runners. Richard of York has a white sash. Intrepidity has a yellow one, and Carnegie a blue one, while King's Theatre runs in the first colours, but that makes it much more difficult for GG to identify than different coloured caps, for the simple reason that you can see caps.
Doesn't make it much easier for us either, John. Never mind, Graham. Still, at least there are fewer runners than there have been for a while. You can probably see, keep stressing, hope most of you are watching in colour, the different greens, blues and hazy blue in the background, the greens and browns of the trees. It's such a wonderful setting, such a wonderful race course. It really does look at its best today. 20 runners for the Arc de Triomphe. Time to update you with the betting.
And you can get 3 to 1 the field, 3 to 1 coupled, Carnegie, Intrepidity, King's Theatre and Richard of York. But further support for White Muzzle, trying to become the 5th horse, runner-up in the Arc one year, to go that crucial 1 place better the next. Milcom, the French public are on him, 4.6 to 1, with Hernando and Boutin 6.4 to 1, 6.8 to 1 Only Royal. That's British money on Dettori and Cumanis Villi. Celtic Arms and Sierra Madre coupled, 8.3 to 1. Looking for the outsiders now, 14.4 to 1 Apple Tree and the Teleconnection St Ledger runner-up Broadway Flyer. Those two are coupled. If you're on one, you're on the other. Ezoud and Michael Stout, 20.8 to 1. Much better from Brazil, a very short price. That's 150 to 1 in Britain. It's just over 20 to 1 here. Bright Moon, 23.6 to 1. The German horse Lando is double carpet, 33 to 1. 50 for Demand, nearly 75 to 1 Trulio Dream, 86 to 1 Big Tobin, and Dancian 100 to 1. But remember, Star Appeal was 119 to 1 when he won in 1975.
So Apple Tree in that list, a 14.4 to 1 shot coupled with Broadway Flyer. Apple Tree a chance ride for John Reed. He, until today, has never sat on his back before. Derek Thompson asked him earlier in the day if he considered that a disadvantage.
Well, I've watched all the videos of him running, and I think I've got to know him quite well. you know, he looks a fairly straightforward horse to ride. I know it shouldn't cause me much problems, I don't think.
What about the draw, 1?
Well, the one's obviously, you know, it'd be easier if I was drawn out a little bit. It gives you more options, but, you know, it's a horse you got to drop in anyway, so I'll just have to let a few go and see what happens.
I've got to ask you about White Muzzle. You know the horse better than anybody. You've been riding him recently. He's in tip-top shape.
He's in very good shape. Never been better. Peter's delighted with him. He's going to take a lot of beating.
And this Yutaka Taki, he's quite good.
Well, they tell me he's very good. I haven't saw him a lot, but he's got a big reputation, and, you know, jockeys, champion of their own country are usually good.
Succinct words from John Reid for a race that remembers or takes its name from the Arch of Triumph, the Arc de Triomphe at the Place d'Etoile, where 12 major roads in the city of France all meet. Let's hope that we don't get traffic problems that can manifest themselves of such magnitude around the Arc de Triomphe. Certainly the stars of Europe and the racing world gathered here. Cash Asmussen, one of them. He rides Hernando. John, but this one looked very disappointing in the form clip we just shown in the Prix Foy.
Yes, he certainly did. Hernando was kept in that day by Intrepidity, and when he did finally get some daylight, he'd become discouraged and definitely didn't do his best. His best is pretty good, though. He can produce a tremendous turn of foot. Didn't run well in the Arc last year, didn't run well in the Breeders' Cup either. So you've got to go back beyond that to find the best of Hernando. And possibly 1.5 miles is just a bit further than he would really ideally care to go. But Richard of York, in the white sash in front of him, is the Rainbow Quest colt on whose behalf Sheikh Mohammed had Munax withdrawn so that Richard of York could get in. And you can see that André Fabre, his trainer, had reason, really, because Richard of York won a fine race in the Foy. He beat Intrepidity a neck, and the Foy has often been a good guide to the race.
Absolutely, so many trials to take place that day, have been in the past. Pat Edery in the centre of that picture, who has 4 Arc victories to his credit. Behind Freddie Head, he is the most experienced Arc rider in this field. Number 3, Richard of York, the man of Sylvain Guillot, who's come very much to the fore in French racing the last couple of years.
Awfully lucky, I was thinking, Jim, that we have such a diplomatic man as John Reid to take the blow of being removed from White Muzzle, on whom he's won so many good races, or ridden so many good races. John is a wonderfully calm and diplomatic attitude, and he hasn't worried at all. But if he gets upside Yutaka Take, I suspect that he'll be trying pretty hard.
Actually, it's incredible the media interest in Yutaka from his own country. I mean, yesterday when he merely went to weigh out for the first race, there must have been 30 cameramen or journalists with their noses pressed against the glass that surrounds the weighing room. You public, or not the general public, but a lot of the public can actually see into the weighing room or the scale, the weighing out procedure. Just the fact that he was weighing out attracted interest. He is the same height as, for example, Lester Piggott and Cash Asmussen, but he rides at 7 or 8 pounds lighter, just 7 stone 12. He's pencil slim.
Nevertheless, it's entirely possible that he can jump White Muzzle off. That's Milcom making a bit of trouble there. Heavens, just because you're unbeaten in 10 races, that doesn't give you an excuse to misbehave. Although, Jim, you think it was Izoud?
I think he may have kicked Izoud, actually. They certainly came close together. Or Izoud kicked him. They were certainly involved in an altercation. Let's hope both horses are okay. You can see the handler there just checking. Big moment here for Jean-René Duboche, who is, or has made his name riding in the provinces. And I'm reading one of the articles in the Paris Turf this morning saying ordinarily jockeys on a big occasion like this from the provinces are jocked off in favour of one of the big names. Thanks to the loyalty of Milcom's owners, Jean-René keeps the ride. That's the Brazilian challenger, Much Better, who was very stirred up in the preliminaries. Also a little warm now, Broadway Flyer. Wonder if he remembers that, well, thrilling for the spectators, but surely grueling battle he had in the St. Leger at Doncaster last month.
When, of course, Moonax beat him, and how will the connections of Moonax feel if Broadway Flyer gets anywhere near the placings in this arc?
Well, Moonax's trainer, Barry Hills, while he might have slight misgivings, I think would be absolutely delighted if son John could claim this. Carnegie improving, impressive in his trial, the mount of Thierry Janet, and one presumes not unreasonably that Thierry had the choice from André Farb's 5 rides, so for many people that would be a tip in itself. Thierry withdrawn, doesn't talk much to the press, but a very polished rider, fine judge of pace, rides a lot of middle distance winners in France. When I asked my taxi driver yesterday why he thought Thierry Janet did, he looked at me as if I was even more stupid than John Frankham sometimes imagines, and said because André Farb has far more middle distance horses than anybody else.
On the right of the picture, that's Lando, the hope of Germany, ridden by Michael Roberts. This is another very interesting horse. He's not carried all before him in Germany, but pretty well done so. His one failure this year, his blood was allegedly wrong after that, but he's won 2 races, including the Grosser Preis von Baden. Pulls pretty hard, so Michael Roberts will either have to drop him out and settle him in, or perhaps will be up with the leaders. He's a nice colt, but I particularly liked Milcom. Milcom looks in absolutely tremendous condition. There's Azud, the international winner, and how gamely he ran on that day at York. People had said that he wasn't much of a battler, but he made them eat their words at York.
So they're down by the mill for the Arc de Triomphe. There's a handful left to go in. Azud, a real character of a horse, taking everything in. Fortunately, he's none the worse for that collision with Milcom, and very shortly he'll be installed.
There is Milcom in the stalls. Well, good luck to him. There's the hope of Germany, Lando. But for the Arc de Triomphe, the 40 Arc de Triomphe, over to you, Graham.
So they're lining up down for the 73rd running, and looking at 4 horses: Milcom top right, Lando bottom right, the Brazilian runner much better bottom left, and the favourite white muzzle, the individual favourite white muzzle, Yutaka Taki, although of course the 4 Sheikh Mohammed colours. Runners are coupled for betting purposes, which is York White Sash, but they race away. Dancien was slow to go, and they burst out of the stalls, and Dancien taken back through the field. We expect Broadway Flyer to go up and make the running, and he's doing just that, setting a good pace. 2 out wide, Sierra Madre. King's Theatre holds a position. Azud, Milcom in a good position. The last quarter mile is vital for him. Intrepidity just ahead of Carnegie. Then comes Bright Moon shuffling down the pack. We have only Royal Hernando on the outside. Is Celtic Arms, and then wide of these is Big Tobam, and at this stage White Muzzle has only got 3 behind him, and they are Vertamond, much better, and the slow starting Dancier. But it's Broadway Flyer leading in the white jacket. On the outside, the grey horse is Sierra Madre. Between the pair, Intrepidity in the yellow, would you believe it, sash, and then running the rail is King's Theatre. Behind that one comes Azud. On the outside is the white sash of Richard of York, and this massive maroon pressed by Milcom, and then behind these comes Bright Moon, settled mid-division. Apple Tree is in mid-division too. White Muzzle last but one, giving his horse a lot to do as they continue through the first half mile and begin a right-handed turn. And it's Broadway Flyer in the lead from Intrepidity on the outside, sharing second place there with King's Theatre. Then on the outside, Sierra Madre and Celtic Arms, and just in behind these we have Landa, who's running wide, and they go past the halfway stage, and Broadway Flyer has kicked clear by about 6 to 8 lengths. We're looking at the chasing group now. There's Broadway Flyer and running the rail. is King's Theatre, then Intrepidity, and on the outside races Celtic Arms, Ezud, and then just behind these comes Milcom. Lando on the outside, but Broadway Flyer is cleared by 6 as they come down, and with just one more turn to take in the 40, Puy de l'Arc de Triomphe for this Broadway Flyer, clear from King's Theatre, Intrepidity and Richard of York, and then just in behind these comes Sierra Madre travelling well. White Muzzle starting to pick up, but is going to spin wide as they start to turn in, and it's Broadway Flyer still clear by 4. Intrepidity the outside of King's Theatre, then comes Ezud on the outside. Milcom, the unbeaten horse, with a run, trying to come with a run. Richard of York, Apple Tree starts to pick up, and they're coming to take Broadway Flyer, who can't hold on. It's King's Theatre and Richard of York, and on the outside Bright Moon with a dash. Here comes Hernando bursting through the pack in dark blue, and Carnegie's in the front rank too. Come down towards the winning line, and Hernando flashing through the inside of Carnegie. Carnegie and Hernando as they race up towards the line. Carnegie, Hernando the 1-2. Then Apple Tree, and behind that one Ezud. Then came home Bright Moon just in front of Oni Royale. Then came White Muzzle and Lando and Milcom, followed through by King's Theatre, and then Sierra Madre. Vertemont was last but one, and last of all was Dancienne. And so the result of this, the Forte Puy de l'Arc de Triomphe, an international race which has been won by number 14 Carnegie, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, this one trained by Andre Fabre, a 5th ride in the race for Thierry Janet, who's won it. And in this international race, the only way of distinguishing them is that stupid little blue band. Second horse home, I think, is Hernando. Here goes Carnegie with a rush on the outside, then through on the inside is Hernando, the blue, well, the blue with the light blue cross belts. And as they race up toward the line, it's going to be Carnegie who's the winner. Hernando is second, through on the...
He kept his unbeaten record in style.
Whittian still has it by a half to Eltish. Fard's got the room on the rail if he's going to make a run. Pennycamp's covered up behind them. Green Perfume, black and white colours as they pass the 2 wide of Stiletto Blade. Anybody's race, they've got just over a furlong to go. Eltish going for home, Fard under pressure. Pennycamp is absolutely cruising and got a run, but on the outside, Green Perfume in black and white. This Green Perfume, who's come to Weaver. Number 9 is Star Player. That's a 33-to-1 chance written by Frankie Dettori. Ivor Stutter, 33-to-1. John Williams will be coming late. Bardolph, blinkered, normally is 20-to-1 chance Richard Quinn. Tarrant to run a good race at 33-to-1 with Jimmy Fortune. Transom, well backed today, 6-to-1 with Ray Cochran. Forgeron, 33-to-1 with John Reed. Another Mary Reevely runner, Mondragon, 25-to-1, Michael Roberts. Blinker for the first time, we have New Reputation at 8-to-1 and Michael Hills. Number 17 on the card, hasn't run for 2 years. That's Ideal Candidate. Those odds reflected at 100-to-1. Gary Carter has got the job of getting that one home first. Doyce, a big tip in the town at 12-to-1 with Gary Barwell. Irish Stamp, generous at 25-to-1 considering the odds last year, though John Stack does put up 5 pounds overweight. Top Spin 100-to-1 is ridden by Mark Baird. Number 21 from the north is Avro Anson. He'll fly home at 12-to-1 if Lindsay Chana can get him there. Chakalak, 50-to-1, Francis Norton. Art Form, now 33-to-1, ridden by John Lowe. Argyle Cavalier, 50-to-1, is ridden by Joe Fanning. Then we have Shadow Leader. That's ridden by Nick Adams, and they're 66-to-1. 100-to-1 outsider, Romelito. Dan Wright claims a 5. Ormosa at 50-to-1 with Ernie Johnson. Pride of Britain at 33-to-1 in patriotic red, white and blue colours is ridden by Jimmy Quinn. Arctic Guest is ridden by Stuart Sargent. Arctic Guest is ridden by Stuart Sargent a little bit through the first furlong or so as they come into our camera view. A little bit slow to go was Mondragon, and My Desire also towards the rear. Up there early on is Ideal Candidate, one of the few bandaged runners, and that's taking a keen hold, showing the early pace with Faugeron. Bowed off on the outside, and then Star Player and Tarrant with a run. They're not that far away is Jack Button with Trance on the inside, and then Avro Anson on the outer of the pack. One of the back markers is Marathea as they go to the first quarter mile. Romelito is on the very wide outside of the pack, but it is Ideal Candidate who leads, and now it's Faugeron that goes on. Faugeron and Ideal Candidate 1 and 2. Showing third is Jack Button, and then taking a very keen hold in green colours, Fatak comes through. Tarrant holds a good position, and Dover Patrol, and then Bardolph, followed by Transom, and then Pride of Britain and Avro Anson behind that. Then after it comes Iota and Argyle Cavalier. Mondragon racing mid-division with Top Spin. Romelito is one of the back markers. Marathea is well out the back, and they continue through the first mile, 3/4 of a mile. On the front end, though, it's still Ideal Candidate, the white bandaged horse, hitting the ground with Faujon on the outside, and then Fatak is showing third. Then the yellow colours towered, and then behind these comes Jack Button and Bardolph. On the wide outside, Marathea has rushed through horses to try and get a little bit competitive, and also on the outside is Shadow Leader. These are followed through by Olmoso, and they're about to start the turn in now. And they've got just over a mile to go in the Tote Cesarewitch, and as they head for home, it's Faujon that still leads. Faujon the leader, with Ideal Candidate the inside, then Jack Button, and on the outside is Shadow Leader. And let's see how fast they're going. They're going at 37 miles an hour. Romelito isn't. He's the back marker, and he's lost a bit of ground. But it's Faujon that's putting pace to the race. Ideal Candidate having his first run for 2 years. Transom through on the inside. These are followed through in the chevrons of blue and white by Jack Button, and then the chevrons of green and maroon. The saddle slipped on Fatak. On the nearest to is Shadow Leader. My Desire is getting a good position, much closer to. Down middle of the pack is Captain's Guest, Dover Patrol. Nearest to us in those hoops, the orange cap Irish Stamp, Doyce being ridden along, New Reputation, the black cap Top Spin, and the back marker is now Ivar's Flutter. They're spread right across the track. They're hurtling down the home straight. It's Shadow Leader in the dark blue and yellow, My Desire, and Transom now that sees the initiative, and they've got just over 3/4 of a mile to go. Transom in the lead from Jack Button in second. Iota the spotted cap, the inside of Bardolph. These are followed through by New Reputation, who's starting to pick up a bit, and they've got just over 5 furlongs to go still, and it's Transom that has the edge from Bardolph. Iota the outside, and then behind these, Mondragon starts to pick up. New Reputation's coming with a run, and they're only just coming into view from the stands, and they've got over 3 furlongs to go, and it's Transom clear by 2 lengths now to Captain's Guest in second place. Purple cap is Transom, blue cap Captain's Guest. Here on the outside, Star Player with a rush. Admiral's Well, New Reputation starts to close. They've got a 1/4 of a mile to go in the Tote Cesarewitch. Transom and Captain's Guest with the New Reputation on the outside. Then Star Player and Bardolph, and Argyle Cavalier is starting to pick up. They've got just a furlong to go now, and it's Captain's Guest that's gone on for Tony Clark from Transom. Argyle Cavalier, and behind that Star Player, but it's Captain's Guest that's gone 4 clear as they race up towards the line, and Captain's Guest is going to take it. At the post, Captain's Guest is the winner. Captain's Guest, Argyle Cavalier. Oh, 5-way photo for third with Mondragon, Bardolph, Star Player, New Reputation, and right on the stand side, Ivar's Flutter. Then the field trail back to Fatak, Irish Stamp, and last of all was Faujon. And so the result then of this, the Tote Cesarewitch handicap, it's a win for horse number 2, Captain's Guest. Second was number 24, Argyle Cavalier, and the judge rightly calls a photo for 4th place between, about 6 stretched right across the track, and certainly in those 6 were nearest to us, Ivar's Flutter. In the green colours, New Reputation, Star Player is bang there, and the orange colours on the rail, that's Mondragon. Let's look at that photo for 3rd place on the far side. Well, really from the top of the picture, that's New Reputation. Then we have Star Player, the green cap, Bardolph is bang there, Transom, and nearest to us in the orange colours is Mondragon. We'll let the judge sort that one out. The second horse clearly shown in the picture there is Argyle Cavalier, but all credit to Captain's Guest, who's in the colours of Mr. Ken Buchanan, trained by Guy Harwood at Pulborough and ridden by Tony Clark. An absolute cavalry charge as they came inside the final furlong. Captain's Guest has hung badly over to the rails, but he was clear of any trouble when he did so.
If there weren't 20 people standing around looking, I should think he'd have a good crack round the backside, which is exactly what he wants, because he's just taking the mickey. Now he's on the grass, I'm sure that, well, maybe. Maybe
well, nearly sure.
Well, nearly sure. Maybe he's trying to say he actually doesn't want to go to Cyprus. Last time we saw a horse do this here on this course, it was Chilibang, didn't want to go, and then he ran straight over to the other side and ran through the rails.
I feel like doing in the garden.
Got his ears pricked.
He lives most of his life, of course, in the in the Epsom area, so perhaps on those grounds he doesn't approve of Newmarket.
He's 7 years old now, turning around in the circle. Sometimes it just disorientates horses slightly, and maybe you can go, look at that, what an old sod, ears pricked. Just knows it's one of his last visits to the race course over here, just making sure he gets plenty of attention. You watch, he'll just go straight off now.
You keep saying that.
I think that's what's known as tempting providence. Phenomenal. This,
as you say, I bet if somebody was there with a long tom, they wouldn't need to hit him. Just a little, just the knowledge that it was there would send him off. He's happy as a Greek now.
Happy as a Cypriot anyway. I bet they don't have to have this trouble when he starts the covering season next year.
He hasn't ever, as far as I know, I don't think he's done this before. Giving a bit of amusement at any rate. They may not be seeing much action, but this will be giving them a bit of fun.
Just trying to think of the horse that went down with Michael Stout's. Had Michael Stout running all the way down there once. Ran all the way down to the start with it. Producer just frantically saying they're making contingency plans to run the Champion Stakes tomorrow. It'll be dark by the time he gets down in this horse.
I've looked up the figures now. This is 53rd race. Bold Les's 53rd race.
There's the Clark, of course, the first time he's run for a long time.
He is worried about the Champion Stakes.
Well, I've got a theory as to why this Bold Les is behaving like this. He's run twice in the race before, and he was only 10th and 23rd. So I think he feels that he's not quite up to it. Plus the fact he's carrying all this overweight thanks to the British Horse Race Board Race Planning Committee, and he's thoroughly cheesed off with the whole operation, and that's why he's not too keen on going down. But I must pass on some news. There's drama going on down at Kempton in the 320, where the champion hurdle contender Large Action is involved in a desperate scrap with Absalom's Lady. The judges called for a print there. He hit the last Large Action, was headed by Absalom's Lady, and she strayed right across the course, so there is also a steward's inquiry. But Large Action's price for the 95 Smurfit Champion hurdle is 14-1 with Corals. Hill only go 8-1 Large Action, and you can get double carpet 33-1 Absalom's Lady. Isn't it great? The jumpers are back, and of course we'll be at Cheltenham, where Denoli at the moment is the 5-1 favourite, and the betting here, Kate Marino is the 6-4 favourite. It's 5-1 Mr. Jolson, 11-2 against Ashtina, and I hope the jockey there is going much faster than Bold Les will be going. And 13-8 Kate Marino now, 9-2 Mr. Jolson. 5 actually, they're backing everything else because Bold Les, the pick of the weights according to those out of the handicap, the 6, doesn't look too keen. Can he mounting up again? Up goes the lad again. Will the horse go down? It's a 10-1 chance. A great cheer has gone up because the crowd can't actually see it. All they can do is watch the screens. And like you, I'm watching the screens. There's the crowd there. They're looking at the screen. They can't see the drama further down the course, although the fog is lifting, and it's going to be a great laughter going on here. This great drama on the course. This is what people are going to remember.
Then Mutaram, environment friend, the grey. He may have nearly covered a mare this morning, but it's the racing part of his life now. There's Mutaram, Hatouf, Grand Lodge in the apricot colours of Lord Howard de Walden. Behind him is Sacrament, La Confédération, the Noreef mare, so lightly raced. And finally, Metcalf, the Irish 1,000 guineas winner.
Hatuf, the 11-8 favourite. Grand Lodge is 5-1 from 6s.
Denier Empereur and Metaf is the back marker, and she can certainly finish. But the leader, the favourite, Hatuf, on the front end, doing it all the hard way. From Grand Lodge running the rail, the apricot colours, taking a very keen hold is Mutaram, and they're certainly getting a little bit quicker as they go 38 miles an hour through the first quarter mile. Metaf still the back marker, with the exception of Grand Lodge, who's ploughing a lone furrow down the stand side rail, and has come through to share the lead now with Hatuf. Just edging into the lead, shading Hatuf, is Grand Lodge, the St James Palace winner. So we have Grand Lodge just leading from Hatuf, environment friendly.